Welcome to Voice Daily Finance, the most important news personalized for you every day. Supported by Voice.com.
In today's episode, you'll learn about, first, today's US market review. A quiet rally masks a brutal rotation as smart money flees tech for small caps. Is the AI party over? And what does this historic shift mean for your portfolio? Second, jobs report bombshell rocks Wall Street. A 32,000 payroll plunge triggers recession fears, but the headline masks a deeper truth. The headline number is a lie. Why are 120,000 small business jobs evaporating? And how is this turning into a high-stakes data war inside the Federal Reserve? Finally, Micron kills its consumer business. The AI supercycle triggers a memory bloodbath, and your next PC upgrade is caught in the crossfire. This isn't just a business decision, it's a strategic power play in the US-China tech war. With memory prices now doubling, is the AI boom about to make all our gadgets unaffordable? Battle stations, folks. The market's sending a clear message today. It's all about the shift. Small caps are soaring and tech's taking a hit. This isn't just noise, it's a full-blown rotation. The S&P 500 nudged up by 0.3% to close at 6,849. But don't let that fool you. The real story is in the undercurrents. The Nasdaq barely squeaked out a 0.17% gain, while the Russell 2000 surged ahead with a 1.9% leap. Listen up. This isn't the time to sit on the sidelines. Here's the scoop. The ADP National Employment Report dropped a bombshell with a decline of 32,000 private sector jobs in November, flipping the script on what the Fed might do at their December 9 to 10 meeting. The markets are now betting big. I'm talking 79% to 96% on a rate cut. This shift is triggering a tactical rotation into economically sensitive sectors. Investors are ditching high-flying tech and piling into small cap and cyclical plays. Why? Because weaker labour data signals the Fed might loosen up, sparking a buying spree in sectors that thrive on credit easing. Let's break it down. The ADP report's weak job numbers are reshaping rate expectations, with small businesses shedding jobs like leaves in the fall. This isn't just a blip. It's the third drop in 4 months, signalling to the Fed that the labour market might be losing steam. And when the Fed gets dovish, sectors like financials and industrials start looking like golden tickets. The 10-year Treasury yield slipped to 4.09%, reinforcing this narrative lower rates could mean higher valuations for sectors outside of tech. Now, on to the spotlight. Boeing's on fire with a 10% rally after announcing positive cash flow expectations for 2026. The industrial select sector SPDR XLI is riding this wave up 0.9% alongside Boeing's boost. Meanwhile, financials are set to benefit as rate cuts ease lending conditions. Keep your eyes on XLF as banks get ready to ride the interest margin wave. On the flip side, the Nasdaq struggle reflects a tech retreat, with big names like Nvidia facing investor scrutiny over AI expenditure returns. Let's talk strategies. Good advice makes you rich. Bad advice costs you a fortune. Listen to me. Rotate out of mega cap tech and into small cap and cyclical stocks now. Short term, shift 15 to 25% of tech holdings into small cap ETFs like IWM and value plays such as XLI. Target Boeing as it rides its recovery narrative. It's still got legs. Watch for Nasdaq break below 23,000 as a cue to reduce tech exposure. Remember, the 10-year yield below 4.15% keeps tech under pressure, so keep those stop losses tight. Moving to sectors, industrials are the big winner thanks to Boeing's surge. Boeing's operational recovery is pulling up peers like Caterpillar and Palantir. Meanwhile, tech's on the defensive, with AI uncertainty weighing heavy. Nvidia's facing pressure despite its market position as AI capital expenditure worries cloud the outlook. The technology select sector SPDR XLK lagged at 0.8%, reinforcing the sector's vulnerability. And remember, this isn't just a one-day affair. Medium-term financials are your play for a lower rate environment. Add 3 to 5% to your financial sector exposure. Think XLF and regional banks like KRE. This is your moment to capitalize on expanding net interest margins and lending growth, but hedge your bets. Consider a collar strategy on tech holdings to protect against downside risk while maintaining upside potential. Time's running out, folks. As we head into the December 9 to 10 FOMC meeting, the markets are ripe for a shakeup. Watch the labour data closely. If we see a continued slide, brace for a tactical pullback. This week's action isn't just a blip, it's a harbinger of what 2026 could hold. Miss this rotation and you could be left behind. Now, let's take a closer look at the specific stories driving today's action. The US labour market just got hit with a number that stopped traders in their tracks. Private payrolls didn't just slow down, they unexpectedly dropped by 32,000 in November, marking the biggest single decrease in over 2.5 years. This was a direct contradiction to economists' forecasts, which had predicted a gain of 10,000 jobs. A while back, we said the Fed was driving in a fog as official figures kept getting revised and policymakers leaned on noisier proxies. Today's ADP shock fits that pattern. When visibility is low, a single volatile print can swing sentiment far more than the underlying trend justifies. Now, get this. This sudden drop comes after a period that looked like stability, but was actually more like paralysis. For months, we've seen low jobless claims, but also slowing hiring. This suggests companies have been hoarding labour, holding on to staff because they are uncertain about the economy and afraid they won't be able to rehire skilled workers later. This kind of stability is fragile. A sudden negative shock, like this jobs report, could be the first sign that business confidence is breaking, potentially leading to a sharp wave of layoffs rather than a gradual cooling. Continuing our last discussion on the low fire market starting to crack with big names announcing job cuts, a move like this from ADP is exactly the kind of catalyst that can turn announced reductions into actual separations. But that's not the whole picture. The headline number masks a much deeper divide. While medium and large companies continued to hire, America's small businesses were crushed, shedding a staggering 120,000 jobs in a single month. Economists are pointing the finger directly at tariffs on imports, which have driven up costs and squeezed smaller establishments. We previously analysed how tariffs were accelerating a shift in supply chains less from China, more from places like Mexico and Vietnam, while overall goods demand was soft. That diversion and weakness tend to hit smaller import-dependent firms first, which makes today's small business losses sadly consistent with the trajectory we flagged. And the ripple effects here are significant. Research from the US Chamber of Commerce shows that a staggering 97% of all US importers are small businesses. They don't have the massive cash reserves or negotiating power of large corporations, so when tariffs raise the cost of goods, they can't easily absorb it. Their profit margins get crushed. This distress is more than just a jobs problem. It's a leading indicator for the health of the financial system. When small businesses struggle this badly, it often signals a future rise in commercial loan delinquencies, which puts pressure on the banks that lend to them. And remember, a while back we walked through the bullwhip effect in goods. After front-loading orders, firms shifted hard into destocking as consumers pulled back on physical goods. Add tariff pressure on top of that, and you get a double squeeze on small importers and their lenders. This situation presents a fascinating duality. On one side, you have the services sector, things like healthcare and finance, which remains strong and is still expanding. But on the other, the manufacturing sector has gone flat. This creates a huge dilemma for the Federal Reserve. If they cut interest rates to help the struggling manufacturing and small business sectors, they risk overheating the already strong services sector and sparking inflation. It's a treacherous path, and the risk of a policy mistake is high. A while back, we highlighted that surface-level strength in one part of the economy can mask weakness elsewhere, especially when prior months get revised down. That tension is exactly what makes this two-speed setup so dangerous for policy. This has ignited a firestorm on Wall Street, creating a battle over what's real. On one side, you have the alarming ADP report suggesting the engine of the economy is sputtering, but on the other, many top economists are urging caution, highlighting that this specific report is notoriously unreliable and often diverges from the government's official numbers. We previously analysed the headline positive, revision negative clash that's been tripping up the narrative. With the Fed already flying blind through revisions, an ADP miss like this can either be a warning flare or a mirage. So the thing is, the skepticism comes down to the fact that the ADP report recently changed its methodology. Some experts believe this new formula might be over-amplifying weakness in the small business sector. This is why everyone is now waiting for the official government data from the Bureau of Labour Statistics, or BLS. If the BLS report comes out and shows steady job growth, it would completely unwind the recession fears sparked by ADP and challenge the argument for an immediate rate cut. And because prior BLS figures have been revised sharply in the past, as we noted a while back, the revisions inside the report may matter as much as the headline. And the stakes couldn't be higher because this data war is now a weapon inside the Federal Reserve. One senior economist at BMO Capital Markets noted that this weak report might be all the ammunition that dovish members need to push through another interest rate cut, setting up a direct confrontation with more hawkish officials who want to hold firm. Continuing our earlier point about the Fed driving in a fog, this is precisely how policy errors happen when noisy reads collide with a split committee. The conflict over tariffs is escalating. A chief economist at FWDBO-NDS stated that any hope of foreign partners cutting their prices to absorb tariff costs for US consumers is simply not being seen in the data. And the data on this is stark. The latest figures show that import prices from China just surged by 0.8% in a single month. This is wild because it's the largest monthly increase since 2008. This tells us that the tariff costs are being passed through directly. For Chinese-speaking audiences, the implication is clear. Chinese exporters are not absorbing these costs, which means higher prices for American buyers. This could eventually lead to reduced demand for Chinese goods, impacting related industries and employment in China. This price pressure from imports seriously complicates the Fed's job, as it fuels inflation and could force them to keep interest rates higher for longer, directly contradicting what the weak jobs report seems to call for. A while back, we also mapped the broader trade rerouting away from China. If prices keep rising while volumes shift to other suppliers, the squeeze intensifies for small US importers and deepens the two-speed split in the domestic economy. The market is now caught between a shocking payroll report and deep skepticism over its accuracy. With small businesses under immense pressure and the Federal Reserve facing a contentious policy decision, this single data point has become the focal point of a high-stakes battle over the true health of the US economy. So, what's next? The two key numbers to watch are, first, the official BLS employment report. Its release will either confirm a downturn or expose the ADP report as a false alarm. Second, keep a close eye on the import price index. If it continues to rise, it will signal persistent inflationary pressure, making it much harder for the Fed to justify cutting rates. And given the revision landmines we've discussed before, pay close attention not just to the BLS headline, but to any backward adjustments tucked inside. These indicators will be the focal points in the coming weeks. We were just talking about signs of weakness in the broader economy, but let's shift our focus to a sector where the opposite is happening, a boom so intense it's creating its own economic shockwaves. Micron Technology just killed its consumer business. If you've ever built a PC or upgraded a laptop using its popular Crucial brand, that business is now being sacrificed to feed the artificial intelligence boom. A while back, we talked about NVIDIA's push into mobile class LPDDR to cut data center power, used the first sign that AI demand would collide head-on with consumer components. Today's twist is bigger. A leading supplier isn't just competing for parts, it's pulling supply out of the consumer channel altogether. Interestingly enough, this is a textbook example of what economists call the crowding out effect. The new demand from AI is so massive and so profitable that it's literally pushing or crowding out resources and investment that would have otherwise gone to the consumer market. It's a powerful signal that the AI investment supercycle isn't just creating new things, it's actively taking away from others. This could mean higher prices and less innovation for the consumer electronics we use every day, like laptops and smartphones. We previously analysed how AI accelerators were starting to soak up the same memory used in phones and laptops. Micron exiting consumer is the company-level confirmation of that shift. This isn't a pivot, it's a full-blown exit. Micron's business chief confirmed the company is making the difficult decision to abandon its consumer customers to better serve its massive strategic clients in the faster-growing AI data center segment. In other words, the collision we flagged between AI and consumer supply is now embedded in Micron's strategy. The reason is a global memory shortage, and the numbers tell the whole story. Your laptop might have 16 gigabytes of memory. A single next-generation NVIDIA AI chip requires 192 gigabytes. An AMD AI chip needs a staggering 288 gigabytes. This is the new battleground, and memory is the ammunition. Continuing our last discussion, the squeeze started with mobile class LPDDR and has now broadened into HBM and beyond, tightening capacity across the board. And this ammunition is getting expensive. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. It isn't just about a shortage, it's about a fundamental shift in the type of memory being produced. Companies are retooling their factories to produce high bandwidth memory, or HBM, which is what these AI chips crave. This is leading to a tightening supply of standard memory, causing prices to rise across the entire tech supply chain. A while back, we noted research pointing to a roughly 30% jump in memory prices this quarter, with another 20% projected for early next year, and spot data showing up to 30% spikes. Since then, some memory prices have even doubled. This creates a new wave of upstream inflation, and the timing here is critical. While we see prices for some goods falling, this surge in component costs could complicate the global fight against inflation by keeping business IT costs and eventually consumer electronics prices elevated. It's the AI-driven goods reinflation channel we flagged, now accelerating. Wall Street is betting heavily on this move. Micron stock is up about 175% this year, and the company's cloud memory business unit exploded with 213% year-over-year growth in the last quarter. This is what the AI capital expenditure supercycle looks like when it hits the income statement. This decision sharpens the conflict in the high-stakes memory market. Micron, the only US-based supplier, is now positioned to compete more aggressively against South Korea's SK Hynix and Samsung for lucrative contracts with AI powerhouses like Nvidia and AMD. Earlier, we saw Nvidia collide with Apple and Samsung over LPDDR. Now, the memory makers themselves are squaring off over HBM slots for those same AI customers. And here's a crucial piece of the puzzle. The fact that Micron is the only US-based supplier is no accident. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. This move is likely being encouraged by US industrial policy, specifically the CHIPS and Science Act, which provided billions in subsidies to companies like Micron. The goal is clear: reduce US reliance on foreign-made high-bandwidth memory, particularly from Asia, to make the critical AI infrastructure more resilient against geopolitical shocks. For Chinese companies and the market, this signals a hardening of tech competition. As the US builds up its domestic supply chain for these critical components, it creates new dynamics for global technology trade and competition. And as we mentioned before when discussing data center power constraints, policy and infrastructure are becoming as central to AI as the chips themselves. This isn't just a strategy shift, it's a tectonic change. The AI gold rush is now so intense that major tech companies are abandoning entire established markets just to keep up. The message from the market is clear. In the battle for resources between the consumer and the data center is winning. So what should we be watching for next? In the near term, we can expect this trend to continue. Keep an eye on the prices of consumer electronics like laptops and PC components. They are likely to rise or, at the very least, not fall as quickly as we're used to. For investors, the focus will be on the market share battle for HBM between Micron, SK, Hynix, and Samsung. Their earnings reports will be a key indicator of who is winning the AI race. Also, watch spillovers into LPDDR supply for phones and laptops. The tug of war we flagged earlier isn't over, and producer price data has been reflecting that goods side pressure. The bigger picture is that the AI revolution isn't a tide that lifts all boats equally. It's a powerful current that is actively reshaping the entire technology landscape, and we're just beginning to see its full effects.
That's it for today on Voice Daily Finance. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.